Hi, I'm Keaton, and I am a PhD student at the University of South Florida. I will be getting my degree in industrial organizational psychology. I originally wasn't planning on getting an advanced degree in psychology. I was planning on going to medical school. And then my senior year, I decided that that wasn't exactly the right career path for me, but I still wanted to be able to save lives and have a foot in the medical field. And so I did a little bit of research about what I could do with my psych major because I had no idea. And I found out that there's this business psychology sort of thing that works to make the workplace safer, to make people more efficient at their jobs. And I found a few advisors, some of which were at USF, that focused on the medical field, making doctors and nurses and medical practitioners more safe and effective. And I figured that that'd be a very nice match. And so in the future, I'm not sure exactly what I want to do yet. That's still a little bit up in the air. But I definitely know I'll be working somewhere along those lines in a hospital maybe or a medical school, teaching about patient safety and safety culture in hospitals. So after I received my bachelor's in psychology, I went on directly into graduate school. It's very similar in some respects to undergraduate, where you're taking classes and you're doing research on the side. Some of the classes that we ended up taking in IO focus on both industrial psychology and organizational psychology. So industrial psychology is more on like training and job selection and selecting people to hire. And organizational psychology is more focused on the individual, like work-family balance, safety, and like teamwork as well. So you take your courses, and when you've taken the required courses, you are also doing research on the side for your advisor, as well as writing your thesis for your master's, because that's the first step in attaining your PhD. You have to get your master's first. So you finish your courses, you defend your master's. Mine will be on training doctors using choral music to be more mindful and listen to patients. So you get to really integrate all of your interests into something that you're passionate about and that is based on literature that exists. Then you take comprehensive exams to basically show that you know what you should have learned. And then in your last few years, most programs have a requirement that you do an internship at some like a business or consulting firm, since that is part of the IO field, is that it's a scientist practitioner model. And you also then work on your PhD dissertation, doctoral dissertation, and which you can basically just expand upon your thesis or completely shift gears. I'm planning on continuing down the same path. So my favorite part about IO psychology is that you're working on something that affects everyone. Everyone goes to work and daily. And you're working on this very applied psychology that's going to better people's lives. And to me, that was incredibly powerful and attractive from the moment I heard about IO psychology. And I kind of wish that I'd known that this sort of thing existed since the beginning of my undergraduate career. The hardest part, I think, about my program for me personally is reining in research ideas. You come into IO psychology just full of like, you come into your PhD program just full of like passion and zeal for research, and so your ideas are just all over the place, which is great, but you can only focus on some, and like that's really challenging for me. I know that a lot of other people in the program, all of us, we struggle with the methodology. Since IO psychology is very applied, we need to have our methodology down very strong and needs to be diverse. We need to be able to use like a wide variety of different methods. And so that takes a lot of learning to do and really stretching yourself outside of your comfort zone. So if you're interested in going on and getting a graduate degree in really any psychology, but particularly IO, first and foremost, just be aware of the next step, that you aren't just an undergraduate to get your degree and then move on with life. Actually be trying to learn what your professors are teaching you. Be aware that you're going to be taking the GREs or that you already have, and do well. Take them very seriously and study for them. It's one of the main things that schools look at are your scores on your GREs and your GPA. Those two numbers alone are going to determine like where exactly you'll be able to apply. So take them seriously. Also, if you're looking at IO specifically, since it's such a vast field, I'd suggest getting a little bit of research into what exactly IO is, beyond probably just this video. Also including internships that are potential jobs that you might be able to get, or volunteering, or talking to professors. to figure out where exactly your personal interests might lie, whether you want to be applied, work in the business world, or academic and teach, whether you're more I, psychology, or more O. And these are all questions that you're going to be asked during your interviews too, is where do you fall on these different spectrums? So having an educated answer about that when you're asked is good. And then first and foremost, I think after grades in the GRE is research. If you have any opportunity to get into undergraduate research, do it and learn as much as you can, both about the scientific method, about like designing experiments, getting them off the ground, writing if you can. If you can get your name on a publication with someone, that'd be phenomenal. I was really fortunate and was able to have a lot of research opportunities in my undergraduate career, and so that was really exciting and really helped my application, I think. And that kind of feeds into something that I wasn't really prepared for in graduate school, was that, and that I kind of wish someone had told me, was that it's much harder to get a graduate level research program off of the ground than an undergraduate level. A lot more is expected of you. You have to be able to answer many more questions and have it be much more scientifically sound, and you're basically doing research to publish in journals, whereas an undergraduate, the experience is more to learn about doing research and like how research happens. So that was the main shock when I got to graduate school, is just how hard it is to actually start research. You know, you've got a bunch of ideas, and actually going through and following through, getting them off the ground is probably the hardest part.